Good morning, good morning. Welcome to my holiday chat with Amy. So happy to have you here. And if you are new to me, then I want to introduce myself. I'm Amy Yamada, and I'm here to help you to deeply connect with yourself, your vision, and your ideal clients so that you can create the impact and income that you've always wanted. And I've had so much fun doing these holidays that I just have loved hearing your questions, connecting with you, and practicing generosity during this Spirit of Giving season. And so today it's all about finding your clients with ease and joy. So I thought I'd start off with a quick story. I was thinking back to when I first launched my business, which was in late 2011, like officially launching my business. I still was contracting with a magazine that I used to work for the first couple of years. So I did this kind of baby step to bridge the gap into fully launching. And what was interesting during that time is that I remember working with a couple of local business coaches where I'd buy like a little package of 3 coaching sessions and thought, okay, I'm going to figure this out on my own and I can do this with a little bit of help. And even though I learned some great things from those coaches, it wasn't until I really thought about what it was that I wanted to offer and what kind of offering I could create for my ideal clients. So even though I did some other things, like I did Marie Forleo's B School and some online courses, I took a step back and thought, all right, I need to make this a lot clearer because my message was way too broad. It was kind of like this, life coaching, business coaching. I can help everyone, everywhere, do what they want to do, but it was way too broad. And even when I would describe what I was doing, people were like, so it sounds like you're up to some cool things, but I don't really quite understand what you do. And I know that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with this, even at different levels of their journey. Like even when people are evolving, when entrepreneurs are evolving their business, they come back to this place of like, I'm not even clear of what I'm offering next. So what I did back then, which is something that I revisit anytime I'm taking my business to the next level, was I got clear with my offering. It all starts with a great offering. So what I mean by that is your coaching package, your product, your service, your opportunity, your program, whatever your offering is. Maybe it's a subscription base, maybe it's a membership site, whatever it is, just be so clear about what it is. Because if you're not clear, then finding clients becomes really difficult because you don't even know what it is you're offering. Hi, Jenny, or Jenna, happy to see you here. Hey, Ken. And so, Jenna says, this is so suitable for me today, feeling like I'm pulling teeth at the last very little ease. Yeah. So this is something I've been hearing a lot about, and I can relate to what you're talking about because I remember the pain of thinking, I've got to find clients, and feeling stressed about it, feeling stressed about money, thinking, where are they? And then I just allow myself to practice what I already knew, which is what I learned in my career, because I worked in the local media for about 15 years, which was to just be really clear about your audience, what your offering is, connecting with those ideal clients, and then making the offers. So what I did back then was I decided to create a signature offering. For those of you who have been following me for a while, or you've been in my training calls, or you're clients of mine, you know that first and foremost, it's about having a clear message and creating a signature offering. So here's an example of what I did. Instead of having all these little packages, like I remember having like package A, package B, package C, and maybe I had some fancy names like silver, bronze, gold, diamond, whatever. But all these packages was like a menu of options. So when I talk to clients, I'm like, oh yeah, you could do this or this or this, and then let them choose. Now that might seem really nice, like here's a menu and choose which one works for you. But they're turning to me, and a lot of you, especially if you're a coach or trainer or someone who provides a service where you're guiding and supporting people, they were turning to me as the expert. So it's kind of like, I hate to use this analogy, but it's kind of like if you went to the doctor and the doctor's just like, well, you could do this or this or this or this. And you're like, you're the doctor, tell me what to do. So instead I thought, what if I created one signature offering to get started? And if and only if I feel someone's the right fit, then I make the offer. So as an example, I don't offer this package anymore, but I just wanted to give you an example of what I used to offer. I offered a 6-month private coaching offering, and it was, it was 4 calls a month. I actually don't recommend doing 4 calls a month anymore unless they're super laser focused. There were 4 60-minute calls per month, and then what the only options were the payment options. So people could either pay upfront in full for $5,000, or they could do a monthly payment of $997 for 6 months. So if they chose the pay in full option, then they would actually save $1,000, or they could do the monthly of $997 per month for 6 months. So it was just one clear offering, and in that clear offering, I was very clear with my messaging around how I could help my clients and what I could do to help them grow in the long term. So I was nervous. I remember I was nervous about actually putting this offering out there and connecting with people, because I thought to myself, who am I to think that I can offer this premium of a package? Who's going to pay for this? Who's going to invest in this? What if what I have to offer isn't good enough? And these are very real thoughts that I believe most entrepreneurs have, whether you're just getting started, or if you're more established, or if you're even an 8-figure entrepreneur who's trying something new. I know this because I remember having a conversation with Jesse Itzler, who's an 8-figure entrepreneur, and even with him, when he launches something new, he's like, I have the same thoughts that you have, Amy. He's like, I still think, what if it's not good enough? What if I don't sell out my event? What if people come to the event, they don't like it? So just know that if you have these limiting thoughts that come up of self-doubt, that they're not going to go away. And at the same time, I invite you to not let them stop you from the very thing that you want to do. Because the only difference between a successful entrepreneur and a non-successful one is what Steve Jobs said. It's pure perseverance, taking action on a daily basis, and not holding back. So to bring it back to my story of when I first got started, and I was first offering these little tiny packages, and then I got clear with one signature offering. So that was the first key element, was to have one signature offering where it was very clear about what I was offering. Sometimes I'll ask entrepreneurs about what they're up to right now and what they're offering. And if I even ask them to describe me, I'm like, so what are you focusing on right now? What is something that you're offering, or what is something you're selling right now? And they're like, oh, well, kind of, sort of, this is what's happening. And they go on this long tangent, and I'm intently listening to what they're saying. I'm really listening to understand what their package even is. And if I don't get it when I'm intently listening to find out what it is, then good luck to them offering it to an actual ideal client. So with love and respect, I will say to them, I think it would be better if you had a really clear way of describing what it is that you offer. Because as we all know, a confused mind never buys, right? If somebody looks at you like, I don't really know what it is that you do, then take that as feedback. Don't beat yourself up over it. Go back to the drawing board and say, okay, whether you're a new entrepreneur creating a new package, or if you're more established and creating a new package, the same things can come up, but bring it back to creating a clear offering. Be so clear and confident in the way that you make your offer and what the package even is, so that when you're talking to people, they understand. Even when you're clear, this is what's interesting. Even when I'm clear, when I describe my offering, I'll describe it with very specific bullet points of what's included. And even then somebody will say, wait, how many calls is there? Or what's included? Or what are the dates? And even when you've said it clearly, remember, the mind is moving so fast that they might be holding on to something that you said a minute ago, and then you're going through the bullet points clearly and they miss something. So it's all about creating your signature offering and being super crystal clear about what it is. Also, when you have that clarity, just know that you're going to have a ripple effect when you let people know what you're offering. Meaning, once I've been clear about what it is I'm offering and I let the world know, then it becomes like an automatic referral system. So oftentimes people say, I have to build my email list, or I have to create this online marketing funnel, or do a Facebook ad campaign in order to find clients. So the whole theme of today's call is about how to find your best clients, your most ideal clients now, and with joy and with ease. And even though I have gotten to a point in my journey where, I work with a Facebook ad campaign team, like a social media agency, and I've created online marketing funnels, and I use all these online resources. But here's the thing. I know for a fact that you do not have to have all those things in place or working perfectly in order for you to have 5-figure months. I know from my own experience, because even back then, when I created that one signature offering that was pay upfront and full for $5,000, or a monthly payment of $997 for 6 months. Again, I don't offer this anymore. So some of you are like, I want that package. I don't offer that anymore. I do have some other really cool packages. But in that second meeting that I had with someone, before I had an email list, before I had fancy Facebook ad campaigns running, before any of it, my second meeting with someone, I made that offer and she said yes, and she even paid up front in full. And that was at a time when I could really use the cash in my business, in my life, and I just was confident in my offering. And then within 3 to 4 weeks, there were 2 other women entrepreneurs who also said yes to that offering and also chose the pay in full option. So I'm sharing this because I think far too often entrepreneurs are working so hard behind the scenes on all these fancy online things, thinking, I've got to find clients, what if I can't find clients? Or even when you're up leveling, okay, now I have this new premium offering, I need to find how to qualify new clients, what if I can't find people for my premium offering? And I just want to say, take a deep breath, take a step back, first be so clear about what your offering is and know what the value is, and enroll yourself first. You'll hear me say this all the time. Enroll yourself first in your offering. Like, would you yourself buy and invest in this offering or not? And if you're questioning it, and if you have self-doubt around it, then talk to some of maybe your existing clients or some of your colleagues and say, hey, can I run this by you? I really want to make sure that there's plenty of value in this offering so that when I do have a premium investment price tag on it, then people are not like, wow, that's expensive, or I have sticker shock. You know, you want them to see the value. You want them to see the value. So just wanted to see, first of all, who's on. Hi, Olga. Hi, Janet. Hi, Leica. Hi, Justine. Cambria. Good morning. Justine says, have you ever helped artists who just sell their artwork in large paintings? Yes, I have. I actually worked with a client for quite a while, actually, who's an incredible artist based here in the greater Seattle area. And it was really interesting because he would share with me that he was always surrounded by this starving artist community. And he said, so, you know, like, because I just feel like, that, you know, I'll sell a painting, but then I'll live off of nothing, and it's so stressful. And I'm surrounded by these people who are just like, well, that's just the community that we're in. I'm like, well, then you get to decide to create a new story. What if you were the artist that decided that this is not the community I live in, and that I get to be an abundant artist that has my creative expression out there in the world, and I get to charge a premium for the beautiful paintings that I create and spend hours on. And I just thought, you know, you get to create your own brand and your own offering, your own message. This is for all of you, but for Justine's question about artists. And so he still had some disbelief around that. So in this is one of my favorite stories, so I'm glad you asked this question. In one of our coaching sessions, he was still having these blocks around being an abundant artist. And I was like, all right, I can tell you what to do, but if you've got these blocks, then chances are after our session together, you're not going to do it, because we all live according to our belief system. And if we're living according to our limiting beliefs, then our actions will always follow our limiting beliefs until we acknowledge the limiting beliefs and decide to take action anyway. So here's what we did. We sat down at our meeting. He happens to be local, so we met in person. And it was a sunny day. We sat outside of my favorite local coffee shop. And I said to him, all right, here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to generate abundance within the next hour. I gave him some extra time. I said, you and I are going to team up, and we're going to make a list of people that you and I both know that have either shown interest or we believe would be interested in the types of paintings that you do. Now, at the time, he was focusing on pet portraits. So I actually have 2 large paintings that I actually purchased paintings from him of my dog Bella in my home that I absolutely love. They are cherished treasures of mine that I will have forever. But what I said to him was, I said, I know there are people. So here's the thing, okay? He had a clear offering. So it wasn't just like any kind of painting for anyone. It was pet portraits that were big portraits or small. There were like a couple different sizes, but mainly we're focusing on these big portraits. And I said to him, okay, so what would you like to charge for your paintings? Like, oh, I don't know. And, you know, the same thing came up for him that come up for a lot of my other entrepreneurs. Like, who might I think I can charge this? And I'm like, you know what? Just value yourself, value your time, value your talent, value your expertise, just value yourself. And I get it. The reason why I can recognize it is because I've had my own self-worthiness issues. But if I really allow myself to step back and look at what I've done in my life, and I've shared this exercise before, I know some of you have already done it. If you haven't, do it. Make a list of all the things that you've done in your life to get to where you are now. Like all the things, education, training, experience, personal life experience, and then make that list and then step out of it and describe someone else with these credentials and this life experience, and just ask yourself, how valuable is this person, or how amazing is this person? Whenever I've done that with my own life, I'm like, yeah, I'm a powerhouse, I've got this, But our humbleness, which is beautiful, sometimes keeps us small. So to come back to your question, Justine, what we did in that 1 hour session was we made a list, and this can be for all of you watching, coaches, healers. Make a list of anyone that you believe would be interested in what you have to offer. This list may start with one person, and that's okay, because then it opens up the mind of who may be your next ideal client. He and I made a list of about, 8 to 10 people. Said, okay, now we're going to reach out to them. So we created, the list, and here I had the offering created. So this is all part of my formula, okay? Create, connect, offer. If you want to know my $1 million strategy, I'm not quite at 7 figures yet, but my $1 million strategy is create, connect, offer. Create your signature offerings. Create a list of people that you believe that your premium offerings will make a difference for, or a list of people you believe will be interested in your artwork. Connect. So the next thing we did, this is in 1 hour. The next thing we both did was we got on our phones. We started calling people, texting people. It was easier to reach people via text. So I said, who's shown interest? Just think. And he's like, oh yeah, there was this woman who has a horse and she wants me to paint her horse. And another friend of mine has said, oh, maybe I want to have paintings of my dog, and I had a few friends that love their pets. I'm like, are you kidding me? My friend Jocelyn and Sarah, they both love, so my point is we made this list and we just didn't wait to create some fancy online campaign. We just were smiling and dialing. We started reaching out to people. Within that hour, I think we generated $2,000 within that hour. And by the end of the day, he generated $3,400. I remember because we text each other throughout the day because some people got back to him later. And the other thing is I said, and get paid up front in full. So don't do all the work and then invoice them and have to follow up. And because he had told me about sometimes he would do that and then not get paid. I'm like, no, you get paid. You get to choose to get paid ahead of time. So I said, so don't just sell them, don't just enroll them, but collect their credit card information and have a method of, running their card. And by the end of the day, he was in tears. He said, Amy, I've never thought that was possible. And I still believe we were undervaluing what he was offering, but I needed him to see what was possible, and I needed him to choose a price for his paintings so that he could start believing in what was possible, and then he could increase the rate of his paintings. So Justine, that's such a great question, and I hope everyone else has gotten some golden nugget from that, because it all comes down to creating the signature offering, creating the list. As you expand, yes, I do believe in creating, building an email list and creating online marketing funnels. There's things that I can do to expand, that I have done to expand, that you can do to expand. And at the same time, you don't have to wait to be abundantly successful until you've done all these things. You can do it today, okay? So, and then create, connect, deeply connect with your ideal clients, both online and in person, and then offer. Make offers and make them often. Sometimes my entrepreneurs will come to me and saying, Amy, I'm stressed out. I haven't made a sale in 3 weeks. And I'm like, well, when was the last time you made an offer? How many offers have you made? Who have you been connecting with? How are you putting yourself out there? And oftentimes there's little to no activity. And a client of mine just the other day, who's just been in a total great momentum, had said to me, he's like, there's nothing, I think I wrote down his quote. He said, nothing feels as good as progress. Yeah, I think it was it. Nothing feels as good as progress. I'm like, oh, that's a good one, because I think when we get stuck, we get into that, analysis paralysis, we do nothing. I'm like, if you just start again, or start if you haven't started at all, just start, and making progress, hopefully will shift your energy. It always does for me. Great question. Hi, Janet. Oh, yes, you're welcome, Justine. Hey, Ashley, Ash Moon. Yes, Justine, really, yeah, it was one of my favorite stories. Now the key thing is, if you do something like that, don't just stop once you've actually enrolled some clients. Keep going. Sometimes people will have a burst of, cash injection, or they'll make some sales, woohoo, now I'm done. No, you're not done. You keep going so that you can create, recurring income in your life. Leica says, hey, gorgeous. Thank you. Super important to enroll yourself. This happened to me when I first went high end. Yes. So for those of you who have taken your offerings to the next level, I now offer really premium offerings, which felt stretchy to me when I first took it to that next step. And I had a heart, the same voice came up. Who are you to think you could do this? And I'm like, I don't know. No, that's not true. But I just started to think about how the people that I really admire are those who have been bold enough and courageous enough to stretch themselves and not get complacent, And I started to really look at people who are offering, $100,000 masterminds, $75,000 masterminds for a year, and what was included and how valuable they were. And I thought, you know what? It's not about the money. It's about who I'm becoming in the process of growing to the 7-figure and beyond mark. It's how I'm facing myself and breaking through my limiting beliefs that is building my confidence, because I am committed to being unstoppable. The people I look up to the most are people who I interpret, my experience of them is that they are unstoppable. They're vulnerable, they have their moments, they fall down, but they get back up every time. That in my eyes, I'm like, they are unstoppable, and I will follow those types of people to the end of the earth. So I'm committed to that myself, because I know that if I'm committed to being a leader and committed to setting an example for my clients and my circle of influence and standing shoulder to shoulder with other highly influential entrepreneurs, then I get to show up too. And I get to take risks, and I get to put myself out there in a vulnerable way. I get to fall down and get back up, and it's all good, So do I have a bad day here and there? Sure, but I don't buy into a bad day. If I have a hard moment, I'm like, okay, I can either just decide that this is a bad day or a day that's just not where I'm totally off alignment, or in an instant I can shift. And the way that I do that is to just focus on gratitude, how I feel so blessed to be where I am in my life, to have the people that I have in my life, to have the clients that I have, to have the coaches that I have, and just think, okay, I'm totally fine. And then, if you ever Google first world problems, there's videos on really realizing perspective on what is actually a problem. So yeah. Okay, Diane, let me get a sip here. These are great questions. Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's see. Diane says, where do you find clients? How can you make offers when your list is very sluggish, meaning low open rates and no click-throughs for calls? I love this question. Okay, so Diane, I'm not sure how big your list is, but this is an area that I have helped so many of my clients and colleagues, because oftentimes they'll say things to me like, oh, I think my list is dead, or I have a small list, or maybe they're not my ideal clients. And before I get enrolled in their story around any of those things, I'm like, show me what you're sending to your clients, and I will tell you why it's not landing. So what I've noticed is that if the open rates are low, then the subject lines that you're using are not working. So if you need a free resource on that, I actually created 100 email subject lines that get opened. So I don't know if you've downloaded that before, but you can check that out. You just go to 100subjectlines.com. So just 100subjectlines.com. And then you can download my free list that has 100 email subject lines that get opened. So whether or not you use the exact subject lines, which I'm totally fine with, or you use them as inspiration, you can test them out and see what works for you. And then if your click-throughs, or if your click-throughs are low, for those of you who don't know what click-throughs are, it's when you have an email list and then you're able to track how many emails get opened, so that's the open rate. And then if you have a link, like to a scheduling link or a link to an opt-in page or something along those lines, you can see how many people actually clicked on the link. So if your click-through rate is low, then there's something in your emails that is not landing. So what I've found is that typically they're missing the deep connection piece. So what that can look like, and I don't have time to go through a full training today, but what that can look like is telling a brief story at the beginning of the email and taking people to either a moment or a thought or something that shows them from the heart center that you understand where they are. So for example, I might say, I'll never forget the moment when I was early on in my coaching business, and I was sitting and staring at my laptop screen, wondering, asking myself, what am I supposed to focus on next? Or saying to myself, I have no idea what the next best step is. Something that takes them to a vulnerable moment where when I share that deep connect, I call it a deep connection statement. When I share that vulnerable moment, that deep thought that I had that was very real for me at the time, they can read that statement and go, oh my gosh, that's me. That is me. And then you've earned their eyeballs for the rest of the email, and then the click-through rate can increase. So Try something like that. And if you need some additional help, Diane, just private message me. We can always jump on a call, like a brief call, and I can share with you some other tips on what has worked in my email copywriting, because I teach a whole 11-step process on that. Justine, you're so welcome. Leica says, I used to put my own money story as an excuse, and healing that helped me bring my business to the next level. Yeah, that's so true. Leica, so I always believe that everything around us is a reflection and an embodiment of our belief system. So if you are attracting people that are having a money story, or who are broke, or who, whatever their story is, then just ask yourself, where is this coming up for me in my own life or within my being? And when you heal yourself from within, then the reflection changes. So it's a super powerful thing to do. Sometimes we focus more on strategy, and like work hard. And just this morning I was on an accountability call with 2 of my colleagues, and one of them was sharing that there's been days when she's had like 8 sales calls in a day and didn't enroll 1. And then there's been days when she's practiced on self-care and gave her some space, and had a really wonderful energy in her calls, and she'll have 3 calls and 2 of them say yes, and I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. It's when I'm in the hustle that it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's when I'm totally grounded, feeling connected with myself, my vision, and then I jump on a call with someone and I'm not attached. Like, it's just amazing how just the energy from within can exude out of you, and through a phone call, through a Facebook Live, through a Skype call. And that's when the message lands. You feel a connection with someone, you make an offer, and they still might have some resistance, but then you have like a just very open, heart-centered conversation about it, and then you can walk through that resistance and the objections with them. So yeah, you're welcome. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna check the time here. This is, I have a few more minutes, so I know I've already been answering your questions, but this is the Ask Amy part of our call. So if you have any questions at all, this is a good chance to just type it in the comment section. I'm happy to answer them. So, and whether it's related to today's topic or not, happy to answer them. In the meantime, I just reminded myself of what Diane said about where do you find clients. So I actually meant to say this, so I'm glad you asked this. Clients are everywhere. So if you're putting all your eggs in one basket and stopping there, like for example, if you've built an email list and you're emailing that list and you haven't mastered powerful copywriting yet, continue to do that, because that is a strategy that works, but don't stop. Ask yourself, every day you can ask yourself, how can I make the biggest difference today? Who can I reach out to today? What can I do to get myself in front of more people? And to be more specific, make a list of where you believe your ideal clients spend their time, both online and in person, and just get in front of them. Think about what social media sites they use. Think about where they go, do they hang out at coffee shops? Do they go to meetup groups? Do they go to networking events? Do they go to fundraiser galas? Do they go to school-related events? I mean, there's so many events and experiences, both online and in person, that if you are not attracting clients, then there's something that's disconnected. Like, you get to connect. That's why I'm all about deep connection. You get to connect and then deeply connect with your ideal clients and make some noise. I always tell my clients, make some noise. If nobody knows what you're up to in the world, if nobody knows your name, if they don't know what you do, if they don't know what problem you solve, if they don't know who your ideal client is, if you don't know who your ideal client is, then go back to that place, who, and that's something that everyone should come back to if you are up leveling or starting to charge new premium offerings and have new things you're putting out there. Bring it back to, who is my ideal client? Who is my best client? Where do they spend their time? And then make some noise. Put yourself out there. Let people know what you're up to. Be generous. Give, and then reach out to people. So it doesn't have to be so difficult. Okay. Like it says, I love what you said about keeping the momentum. Yes, that is key. Yeah, so, and this is where it's not about self-judgment or beat up if you haven't been putting in the effort. I think sometimes when we get stuck and we create blocks within, we stop taking action. And so it's about progress. So then what you can do is ask yourself, at the end of the day, you can assess yourself from a loving space. Did I do everything I could to move this forward? What kind of movement am I creating? What is my message? What is my mission? What is my purpose? And if I'm being honest with myself, how did I use my time today? Did I use it effectively, or could I be more effective? And if it wasn't that effective, don't beat yourself up. Just ask yourself, what worked for me? What didn't work for me? And where do I get to go from here? And tomorrow is a new day and anything is possible. So I hope that's helpful. Any other questions? Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Comments, feedback, takeaways? Okay. Awesome. Oh, did I see? Okay, I'll make sure I'm seeing everything. Okay, well, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. For those of you who are watching the replay, go ahead and post your question below. If this has been helpful, I would love for you to click on the share button. So go ahead and click on the share button, write a personal note about your biggest takeaway, because you never know if something from this video can make a difference for your own circle of influence. So I'm here to give and be generous during the holiday season. Also, for those of you who are wanting to connect with me personally, go ahead and either private message me or comment below. I love meeting purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are ready for their next big breakthrough. So especially those of you who are just like, I'm here to make an impact on the world. I know what it is that I'm offering, or I want to gain more clarity on what it is that I'm offering. Private message me or comment below, because I will happily connect with you one-on-one. And if you're like, oh my gosh, am I going to connect with Amy? Like, please don't be, like, once in a while I'll have somebody reach out to me. They're like, I was actually kind of nervous about talking to you. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like the girl next door. Like, you did not need to be intimidated or nervous about talking to me, because anything that you share with me is likely something that I've either been through before or that I'm even facing now as I stretch myself to the next level. So just know that I like to keep it real, and that I'm so committed to helping you any way that I can. So let me know if you want to connect, and I will talk to you tomorrow. So Holidaily is 9 a.m. Pacific weekdays. Between now and December 22nd is my gift to you this holiday season. So if this resonates with you, if this has been helpful, then I invite you to join me Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Pacific, for Holidaily Chat with Amy. All right, sending you all much love wherever you are in the world, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah. Bye.